Mr. Michael, Social Studies teacher. This video is in two parts. The first part is the slides of the lecture notes. The second part is an explanation of the lecture notes. You can pause the video to copy the lecture notes onto your lecture notes outline. Make sure to answer the bonus questions at the end for a chance to get extra credit on the assessment. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's begin.
Part 1. Slides of the lecture notes. Part 2. Explanation of the lecture notes. The Age of Imperialism. From 1850 to 1914, the world witnessed a dramatic expansion of European imperial power. We call this period the Age of Imperialism. This era was marked by intense competition among European nations as they scrambled to colonize Asia and Africa. The scramble for Africa. Imperial ambitions were driven by several factors: a relentless desire for new markets and raw materials, a deep-seated belief in European superiority, national pride, desire to spread Christianity, and ideological motivations like social Darwinism and the white man's burden. Africa was a continent rich in diversity but hindered by internal conflicts, geographical barriers, and diseases. Explorers, missionaries, and humanitarians were among the first to reach the African interior. European conquest was successful because of technological advancements such as the steam engine and the Maxim gun. The discovery of quinine reduced the threat of malaria. This allowed Europeans to reach deeper into the interior of Africa. The division of Africa among European powers was formalized in the Berlin Conference. This meeting aimed at preventing conflict among European nations. However, no African leaders were consulted in this partitioning. Imperialism in Africa had profound economic and social impacts. The establishment of cash crop plantations led to inadequate food supplies, and the extraction of raw materials enriched European businesses at Africa's expense. Europeans used various forms of control, including colonies, protectorates, spheres of influence, and economic imperialism. Management methods ranged from indirect control, allowing limited self-rule, to direct control, implementing policies of paternalism and assimilation. Most African efforts to resist European imperialism were unsuccessful due to the Europeans' superior weaponry. One exception was the Ethiopian resistance under Menelik II, who successfully maintained independence by exploiting European rivalries and modernizing his army. Colonialism had mixed effects. Negative outcomes included loss of land, independence, lives, and cultural breakdown. On the positive side, it led to reduced local warfare, improved sanitation, and the introduction of new technologies and infrastructure. British imperialism in India. As the Mughal Empire weakened, the East India Company expanded its control in India. The company had its own army, led by British officers and staffed by Indian soldiers called sepoys. India, rich in resources and strategic importance, was considered Britain's jewel in the crown, becoming its most valuable colony. The British exerted control over India's political and economic spheres. The introduction of cash crops disrupted local agriculture, leading to famines. Traditional Indian life was also challenged by missionaries and racial attitudes. Britain modernized India's economy and public health systems. Tensions erupted in the Sepoy Mutiny when Indian soldiers rebelled against the British. One reason was because of rumors that beef and pork fat was used in rifle cartridges. This rebellion marked a turning point, leading to Britain taking direct control over India and the start of the Raj period. During this period, figures like Ram Mohan Roy, hailed as the father of modern India, emerged. Advocating for social reforms, he argued that India needed to shed certain traditional practices, like arranged marriages, to move towards independence. Imperialism in Southeast Asia. European powers, drawn by natural resources and strategic locations, raced to claim territories in the Pacific Rim. In Indochina, the French implemented direct control. They exported large quantities of rice, leading to discontent among the Vietnamese, who faced food shortages as a result. Siam, now Thailand, under the leadership of King Mongkut, remained independent by modernizing and carefully balancing external pressures. Following the Spanish-American War, the United States gained control of Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. Filipino nationalists, led by Emilio Aguinaldo, resisted U.S. rule. Although unsuccessful, this led to the U.S. laying the groundwork for eventual Filipino self-rule. In Hawaii, U.S. businesses established lucrative sugarcane plantations. As sugar became the mainstay of Hawaii's economy, U.S. planters pushed for annexation. Despite Queen Liliuokalani's efforts to restore Hawaiian control, U.S. business interests prevailed, leading to the annexation of Hawaii by the United States in 1898. China resists outside influence. China, largely self-sufficient in its agricultural, mining, and manufacturing sectors, felt no need to trade with the West. This isolationist stance led to significant tensions as Western powers sought to open Chinese markets. The Opium War erupted when Britain began selling opium to China to balance trade. China's opposition to the drug trade led to conflict and resulted in a humiliating defeat for China. The Treaty of Nanjing gave Hong Kong to the British and extraterritorial rights for foreigners. Internal conflict came to a head with the Taiping Rebellion, a significant uprising against the Qing dynasty. Despite lasting a decade, the rebellion was ultimately crushed by Imperial, British, and French forces. Empress Sixi's support for the self-strengthening movement contrasted with increasing foreign interference. Many European powers and Japan carved out spheres of influence in China, while the U.S. declared the open-door policy to ensure its trade interests. Resentment among poor peasants culminated in the Boxer Rebellion. Fueled by anger towards foreigners, Christian converts, and dissatisfaction with Empress Sixi's rule, this uprising was eventually quashed by European and Japanese troops. Modernization in Japan. For centuries, Japan remained isolated, resisting trade with Western nations. This self-imposed seclusion was a defining characteristic of the nation's foreign policy. In 1853, Commodore Perry's arrival with U.S. battleships forced Japan to reconsider its isolation. His gunboat diplomacy led to the Treaty of Kanagawa, opening Japan to U.S. trade and establishing a U.S. embassy in Japan. The Meiji era, under Emperor Mutsuhito, marked a pivotal shift as Japan embarked on a path of rapid modernization. Inspired by Western models, Japan adopted a German-style government, constitution, and military, and an American-style system of universal public education. Japan's transformation also included industrialization and active participation in imperialism, competing with Western powers. This new Japan fought against Russia and colonized territories in Korea and China, signaling its emergence as a major world power. Bonus questions. Write your answers in the comments below. What were the major causes and effects of imperialism? What do you think Africa and Asia would be like today if European imperialism never happened? Thank you for watching. Good luck on your assessment.